Hey guys, I'm Will Dabbs, and today we're going to talk about an absolute monster. This beast is the IWI Israel Weapon Industries Tavor 7.62 by 51 millimeter modern sporting rifle, and it has all the bells and whistles. The Tavor 7 is an evolutionary development of the original Tavor X95, that is the standard issue service weapon for the IDF, Israel Defense Forces. Now those guys have more real-world practical combat experience than anyone else on the planet, and they know how to make a gun. Now these days they also are the recognized masters of the bullpup concept. Now obviously bullpup weapon used to be rather exotic. It's more commonplace today, but that simply means that the fire controls are located ahead of the gun's action. Though while it represents the cutting edge state-of-the-art in modern small arms, the design actually dates back to the Thornycroft bolt action bullpup rifle that was originally developed in Great Britain in 1901. The Israelis don't design their weapons as toys. They are all real-world utility tools. And so when I was in Israel last, it's very, very common to see young studs and studettes wandering around in public carrying an X95 Tavor. But those weapons are all chambered in 5.56. Now to understand where this gun comes from, we need to appreciate kind of current events. Now, we have been involved, the United States military has been involved since 2001 in wars in the Middle East, and particularly in Afghanistan. It was found that the 5.56 millimeter round was inadequate. It didn't have enough punch, didn't have enough range to reach out as far as it needed to. Now, that's a fascinating cartridge. The 5.56 was actually developed by Gene Stoner, the same guy who developed the AR-15. Back in the 1950s, originally a 222, and then that evolved into the 223, and that evolved into the 5.56 by 45. I'm a great fan. I've burned a bazillion rounds of those things. However, now that in the world of ubiquitous body armor, if there's a concern that your threat might be hiding behind car doors or something similar, you just need a little more punch, and this is it. You'll really not find a more advanced modern sporting rifle than the Tavor 7. Now, just kind of giving a one over the world, the controls are beautifully executed. The magazine release is up here underneath your index finger in much the same spot that it would be on your more familiar M4. Safety selectors underneath your thumb, rotates through 45 degrees. It's all the significant controls are bilateral. The bolt release is this big tab back behind the magazine. In this particular case, this rifle feeds from a standard Magpul polymer SR25 standard AR-10 style magazine, carries 20 rounds of 7.62 by 51. But once again, this gun has all the bells and whistles, bilateral controls. It's exceptionally heavy. The gun stripped without any cool guy stuff is 9 pounds, but because of the nature of the bullpup design, the center of mass is over your primary hand, so it doesn't feel as heavy as it actually is. The Tavor 7 is designed around a steel receiver with polymer particulars. The polymer is a glass reinforced polymer that is essentially indestructible. One of the biggest problems that you typically have with a bullpup design is that the thing ejects right next to your face. So if you're firing it right-handed and it ejects out the right, that's not a problem. But left-handers, about 15% of the population, are otherwise just screwed. However, in the case of the Tavor 7, this thing readily swaps back and forth between right and left ejection with no other tools beyond just a punch. So you can swap the gun out to eject out the left at the user level without any significant talent. The gun has a 4-position short stroke gas piston operating system that's easily adjustable here up at the front. One of those positions is 0. You can cut the gas system off because the Israelis, when they designed this gun, knew that under certain circumstances you would actually want to run it and be legitimately quiet. And so you can turn the whole gas system off and turn it into a manually operated single shot. Now under those circumstances, appreciate the nature of a sound suppressor in a full-size 30 caliber battle rifle. This is a Silencer Co. Hybrid 46M. It's a state-of-the-art 30 caliber modular sound suppressor. You can configure it in a long configuration or a short configuration. It just threads right onto a special muzzle attachment device there. It represents the state-of-the-art in modern sound suppressors. Now, interesting thing about sound suppressors, you can run a 22 rimfire can without hearing protection. As long as you got a decent suppressor, you can shoot that outdoors without ringing your ears too badly. A pistol caliber can is always loud, however, in my experience, 9mm, 40 or 45. Now, a rifle round that is traveling faster than the speed of sound, either 5.56 or 7.62 or whatever, is always going to make a significant sonic crack outside the gun, even if you take all the sound away from the weapon itself. But one of the neat things about that, one of the quietest sound suppressed weapons that I have ever fired is a bolt action 7.62 by 51 millimeter Remington 700. I make my own subsonic rounds, and when you fire a subsonic round through a decent sound suppressor like this hybrid 46M, it is shockingly quiet. It is movie grade quiet. And one of the interesting things about this Tavor 7 is you can set that gas system on 0, manually load those subsonic rounds, and this gun is legitimately stealthy, much more quiet than you would find with a centerfire pistol can. So really is an incredible battle rifle. You know, the difference between a 5.56 millimeter weapon and a 30 caliber weapon, these are called battle rifles. They have a lot more punch, a lot more range, and this does represent the absolute state of the art. So that's enough jabber for now. Let me get my eyes and my ears. We'll run a magazine through it, and I'll show you how she performs on the range. All right, guys, I'm back. I've got my eyes, I've got my ears, I've got a loaded magazine into my IWI Tavor 7. Let's put a few rounds downrange. That is one seriously smooth shooting, full power 30 caliber battle rifle. Well, there you have it. That's a one over the world assessment of the IWI Tavor 7, what is almost assuredly the most advanced state of the art 30 caliber battle rifle available in the world today. Now, as I said, the stripped down weight of this gun is about 9 pounds. You put all the cool guy stuff on it and it becomes a beast to hump, but what you get for that investment is some inimitable downrange thump. This thing is incredibly powerful, projects a lot more horsepower than you would get from a standard 5.56 millimeter weapon in basically the same chassis, the same basic size. Now, you need to ask yourself what you're looking for in a modern sporting rifle and a defensive tool. Now, this gun is not cheap. The MSRP on the Tavor 7 is $21.99, but as I said, what you get for that is state-of-the-art ergonomics, material science that is absolutely peerless, and the finest engineering on the planet when it comes to modern small arms. So, I'm Will Dabbs. As always, I appreciate your time, and you guys have a great day.